Oh, hello. Welcome. So, today's episode is gonna be like I haven't scripted this. I'm gonna talk whatever I think, whatever I want to say, everything that I think at that moment. I'm gonna talk in this vlog. Vlog. This is not a vlog though, is it? Okay. So, as a kid, I usually think, why do people get into strange addictions? What is making them fall into a lot of addictions? But while everyone is a kid, they actually know those addictions are bad for them. But what is the single thing that makes them fall into addiction? Just then I realized, after I entered my adult life, I could experience a lot of stress. A stress in a way that I couldn't predict. Sometimes I would be happy, extremely happy, and the next time I would be in the drop dead mode of depression. I usually experience this once I entered my 20s. Strangely enough, this is the same person who thought that stress, why do people stress? Well, we have our parents, we have our closest kin. Why do people experience stress? So this was one of my biggest thing that I used to think a lot of. And the next thing I used to think is about, why do people get intimate? Strangely enough, I thought I don't need to talk about this, but I need to discuss about this, being a person who is entering her 20s. Maybe I entered my 20s, I'm in my early pre 20s. So, emotions. The main thing that triggers everything in a person is emotions. So, how does emotion treat you? How does it make you fall in love? How does it make you fall out of love? And how does it make you do something that you adore and something you literally don't like? What is the single thing? My god, this angle is better. Should I re-record this again? I should, I guess. Maybe not. Should I? Alright. Let's go with the flow. So, emotions. We were in emotions, right? So, strangely enough, I was reading a psychological book. Like, it was not completely psychological, it was a bit of philosophical and psychological. It was the best mixture that you can ever expect in a book. So, yes. So, that's where I found a line in there. The author says that a person who gets angry all of a sudden, like, if you see, the example that he gave was like when he was out and a waitress actually accidentally spilled some cold coffee on his favorite coat, and he lost all of his patience and burst into anger and was like uncontrollably, like, he burst out of anger and made the waitress cry. So he was like so frustrated. So the author here says that there is nothing that you can burst out of anger. No one is angry. Like, in that situation, even if you were so sad, you were like disappointed, you used anger as a tool to show your authority. Because if in the place of the waitress, if you had a person of authority, like the most powerful person in terms of power, money, you couldn't do the same. Because if you do something to that person, then your life is in misery, because that person has the power and something that you need. So that person's action can actually enhance your life in future. You wouldn't do that. So you use anger to those people who are around you, or the people who are of your like the people who are like lower in the power authority. So literally what they say is, anger is used as a tool to establish your authority, to show that that situation or that kind of what do you say, that time, that period of time is being held by you. You have all means of rights to dominate the person. So anger is used in the terms of dominance. That's what the person says. And strangely enough, as I was scrolling down on Insta, I saw a post, and that post quoted, why does a person gets determined when he or she shows anger? Like, you do all the good things for the whole day for a particular person, and at night you get angry, not at night, at the end of the day, like you get angry and you burst out of anger and you talk something out of anger and leave off words that hurt the person. Then at that time the person determines you to be rude. They forget all the good things that you have done to them and make your character to be someone who's not polite. Why? So here's the answer. I told you, right? So anger isn't something that you can't control. You just choose to get angry at that point to establish your authority. So that's the answer for that too. The next thing, yesterday, day before yesterday, I was seeing the movie Perks of Wallflower. So the protagonist was like, he's a college student and he was talking to his college professor, and the college professor was like a close friend to him in that movie. So the protagonist was asking his professor, why does a person, why do all the good people choose bad people to love? Why don't they choose a right partner? Why don't they choose someone who they can like rely on, pour their love on? Why do they choose the bad person? So that was the question he asked. And that answer that I got from the professor, like, it stunned my brain. He told, people choose the love that they deserve. This single line, boom. I don't know. It was strangely one of the most strongest and one of the strongest messages that I could ever hear. So, it actually personally felt like I have been doing a lot of mistakes in my life. Like, you see, if someone insults me, I don't even know that it is an insult. You know why? Because I insult myself 10,000 times badder that you can ever see. So if a person like someone who's a friend, who's a family member, someone who says something about you, anything, about anything, they can criticize you in any form, but Someone, yeah, I couldn't tell you the example. That's why I'm like struggling. So, yes, that's what I'm trying to say. You know, talking without script is one of the most difficult thing, but I could blabber for 10 minutes. Thank you. Bye for listening to my blabbers.